My name is Jessica. I had been married to my husband for 3 years and had just given birth to our long-awaited child. We named her Amy and planned to raise her together. But life can be cruel. As on a rainy day, the first birthday of our daughter, my husband was involved in a tragic traffic accident and never returned home. Overnight, my daughter and I lost him, and we were plunged into a darkness so deep, it felt like we didn't know up from down anymore. My husband's parents comforted me during this time. Losing their son, they were grieving as much as if not more than. Yet they found the strength to encourage me, which brought me to tears. They said to me, "It's sad, but we'll help, so let's raise Amy well, okay?" That's right. With my husband gone, I now have to raise Amy on my own. After a few days of grieving, I wiped away my tears and started working again. Based in Clayton, Ontario, I moved in with my in-laws and with occasional help from my family, worked hard for Amy's future. I worked days and nights. During this time, I think Amy grew closer to my in-laws than to me. Still, whenever she called me "Oh mommy" and smiled, all my fatigue seemed to vanish. After a while, my work started to get recognized. Then, 20 years after Amy was born, I continued working and was moved to tears seeing Amy as an adult. I figured, why not? So I also bought her a formal kimono. I really celebrated Amy's coming of age. My in-laws, too, were in tears seeing Amy. After dropping Amy off at her coming-of-age ceremony, my in-laws and I congratulated each other. Amy, after the ceremony, came back home, changed out of her kimono, and then went to celebrate with her classmates at a restaurant. You've done really well up to now. Jessica, I'm truly grateful for how you've raised Amy. Yes, I really think Jessica has been amazing. No, it's because my Mile and Phil supported me. I was only able to persevere because of them. While managing his company, my Phil would sometimes take care of Amy with my Mile when I was out working part-time. I was determined to do my best to raise Amy well. Meeting my expectations, Amy went to a top university. I paid for both the tutoring and the university expenses. Now it's just about what kind of job Amy will choose after graduating from college. If Amy has a career she wants to pursue, I don't need to interfere. With only 2 more years until she graduates. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I didn't realize something. I was unaware of what Amy was thinking about me in her life. Amy started living alone when she began university. Occasionally, I visited her apartment to see how she was doing. I also sent her food. This routine ended when she graduated from university.
"Thanks for everything, Mom," Amy said to me. I said,
Just hearing those words made me feel rewarded. Thinking my role was over, my mill left. Jessica, there are still more celebrations to come. When Amy gets married, we'll celebrate grandly, she said, and I nodded. Whether Amy gets married or not isn't for me to decide, but if she does, I'd love to celebrate it in a big way. Before I knew it, 4 years after graduating from college, Amy introduced us to her fiancé. His name is Dave. Amy seemed to really like him. Dave, though not very talkative, was confident and respectfully bowed to me and my in-laws, saying, "I look forward to being part of your family." Proudly, the Carol Amy clung to Dave's arm and cheerfully said, "Isn't he great, my fiancé?" They've decided to have a wedding ceremony. When my Mile asked about the wedding, Amy said, "I want a grand wedding. I want to invite lots of friends and colleagues." Knowing Amy, she will be particular about the venue and the food. But I've been saving up for Amy so I can help out. As I thought about this, time flew by, and before I knew it, Dave had left. That night after my in-laws went to bed, Amy, who was staying over, told me she needed to talk. As I sat in the living room chair, wondering what she was going to say, Amy, sitting opposite me, suddenly said, "I have a request." "Ma, I don't want you to come to the wedding." I couldn't understand what Erstia Amy meant. "I am Amy's mother. It's you. Is it possible for a daughter to tell her mother not to come to her wedding?" Why not? I was too shocked to ask anything else. Timmy, Amy shrugged her shoulders and let out a big sigh.
LBC, like, Houston La Dave's family has a long and prestigious history. It's a miracle that someone like me without a father can marry into it.
Wait, are you saying Dave said something about us being a single-parent family?
Dave would never say that. His parents are good people too, don't say weird things.
I didn't understand why Amy suddenly yelled at me, but it was clear she trusted Dave and his parents. I had been a bit worried since sometimes relationships with a spouse's parents can be difficult, but if Amy admires them, it should be fine. However, that made me wonder why she suddenly brought up being friends. From a single-parent family.
When I met Dave's parents, I told them about Dad's passing in a traffic accident.
They comforted me, saying it must have been hard. But then, I thought, being told it must have been hard means I've struggled more than others because Dad wasn't there.
How queer.
Mom, why didn't you ever think about remarrying? If you had remarried, I might have had a father and a better life.
I was so focused on my studies. I didn't notice, but if I had a dad, maybe I could have spent my days playing. I worked hard as a single mother to ensure Amy never felt deprived. That's why I never had the opportunity to remarry nor the time to look for a new father for Amy. So, being asked why I didn't remarry now puts me in a difficult position. If Amy had wanted me to remarry, she could have told me.
Besides, last year I heard from Grandma and Grandpa you were cleaner.
If you had remarried, maybe a new dad could have made more money, and I could have had a better life. It turns out my miserable life was all your fault, wasn't it? I never spared any expense for Amy. I paid for her tutoring because she wanted to go, provided transportation, and even paid her expensive college tuition. Yet to hear her call it a miserable life, it felt like all my hard work was being denied. Could it be that her words of thanks, saying thank you, were also a lie? As I remained silent.
What I'm trying to say is, a cleaner with low income shouldn't come to my wedding.
Do you understand? I don't want to be embarrassed because my fiancé's family is well established. Grandpa and Grandma are fine to come. After all, Grandpa may run a small company, but he's still a CEO, and I think Grandma cares about me more than you do.
You really saying it's okay if I don't attend your wedding?
That's what I'm saying. I don't need a family with a low-income cleaner. I'm marrying into a respectable family now.
She said this while glaring at me. Seeing all my efforts, seemingly denied, left me wondering what my life had been for. Yet, I thought to myself, well, it's okay. After all, my intention was to ensure she never lacked anything until she graduated from college. Now that she's an adult and choosing her own path, I no longer have the right to interfere. I had planned to do nothing unless she sought me out as her mother for help. Since she seems to not want me involved, we should continue our relationship. I understand. I won't attend the wedding, and since you don't want me involved, we should continue our relationship.
I would attend the wedding. And since you don't want me involved, we should consider this cutting ties, right?
At my words, Amy laughed.
I was thinking of suggesting cutting ties myself. It's exactly what I wanted. Please cut the ties quickly and exit my life.
Up saying that, she left the house despite it being night, as if she couldn't bear to be with me any longer. After she left the house, my in-laws, who are somehow awake, came to me with sympathetic eyes. My Mile hugged me, and for the first time in a long while, I cried. A month passed, and I continued living with my in-laws as usual. Amy hasn't contacted me, but it seems she's been in touch with them. My Mile asked, Amy wants to have a $100,000 wedding and is asking us for financial help. What should we do? My Feel shook his head and firmly said, weddings should be within what one can afford. We won't contribute financially to it. Of course, we'll give a wedding gift, but it won't be a large amount. When my husband and I got married, we also had our wedding within the budget we could afford without asking for financial help from anyone. Amy might have become accustomed to the idea of always being financially supported. Even when she was attending college, I made sure she could focus on her studies without needing to work part-time by sending her money every month. This might have led her to not understand the seriousness of earning money herself. As I wondered if it was my fault Amy turned out this way, my mother-in-law quickly called her.
Amy, unfortunately, we can't provide any money. Weddings should be held within what one can afford. Your grandfather also says the same. Now, don't get upset, please. I'm going to hang up now.
Advice for my in-laws, who consider Amy a precious part of their family, it seems they are both angry with her. They must have heard what Amy said to me. It appears they were listening from the start and became infuriated when they heard Amy's harsh words to me and her insistence that I not attend the wedding. Knowing all I had done for Amy, they couldn't forgive her for dismissing my efforts. Moreover, Amy is mistaken. With a low income, I couldn't have afforded to send her to a top university. Add to that, even with multiple part-time jobs, there's a limit to the income one can earn. That's why I used the knowledge I gained while working part-time and the business studies I pursued concurrently to start my own cleaning company. My field was instrumental in supporting me to establish the cleaning company. Initially, it was a small company started with just a few people, but soon my Phil contracted us for cleaning his company. We focused on meticulous work. Seeing our dedication, he recommended us to his fellow company presidents, and gradually, I expanded the scale of the business. We emphasized thorough training for new employees, ensuring everyone had consistent cleaning skills. Our reputation for detailed and efficient work grew. The cleaning company finally stabilized, and I had thought about contributing financially if Amy were to marry. But now, I no longer feel that way. I'll take some time off soon. Bill and Mill, how about we go on a trip together? My parents also said they'd love to see you again after such a long time. That sounds wonderful. Jessica, I'm excited to be with your parents too. There's so much I want to talk about. I'm looking forward to it, especially since I share the same taste in drinks with Jessica's father. Ignoring Amy's wedding, we proceeded with our travel plans. Months passed, and the day of Amy's wedding arrived. Since my file and Mill said they would not attend, we decided to go on a trip on the day of Amy's wedding. After arriving at the inn by bus and enjoying the hot springs, we were relaxing in our room when I suddenly received a call from Amy. There had been no contact from her for so long. I wondered if something had happened. Answering the phone, Amy blurted out, "Mom, come to the wedding venue right now." I frowned involuntarily. I don't even know where your wedding venue is. You called me a low-income person and told me not to attend your wedding. What do you want now? I responded sharply, and she stumbled over her words, unable to reply. However, there was another voice on the phone besides hers. It was faint, but when I listened closely, I could hear a man's voice saying, "I thought I'd marry you because you're the granddaughter of a CEO and the daughter of a CEO's mother." I didn't hear that neither of them would come to the wedding. But wasn't I supposed to get a lot of money? I had only heard it once, but that voice must have been Dave's. I was shocked not only by Amy's true nature, but also that Dave, who seemed reserved, could harbor such thoughts. I had heard his family was of long standing and prestigious lineage, but perhaps that wasn't true. I'll tell you where the venue is, so come right now? Ah, that's impossible. I'm on a trip right now. Then don't you know where Grandma and Grandpa are? I emphasized yesterday that they should definitely come to the wedding, but there was no response. Oh, they both said they blocked you. They don't even want to talk to you anymore? The letter. I asked my Phil and Mile what they wrote. And essentially, it was we're cutting ties with someone who forgets the gratitude owed to their parents for raising them. He said Amy, having taken financial help from her family without genuine gratitude, will neither be lent money nor continue as part of the family. That's what my in-laws said. I agree with my Phil and Mill's opinion. My biological parents also heard about Amy's situation and said they were cutting ties with her.
What should I do now? I told Dave you wouldn't come because you said so and he got really angry.
He was counting on money from your company.
Oh, so Dave knew from the start that I'm a CEO.
But from what you're saying, it seems like he was more interested in the money than in you. Amy,
And if I'm cut off now, there's no point, he said, and it looks like he might call off the engagement.
a man who approaches for money is not likely to be a good man. Bishop marrying him probably wouldn't lead to anything good. I thought it would be better if their engagement were broken off. I had no inclination to help Amy or mediate between her and Dave.
It's none of my concern, so go ahead and call off the engagement if you want.
We aren't on a trip, so please don't ruin our vacation mood any further.
Hi, please. I'm begging you, just come to the wedding.
I ended the call and blocked her number. Continuing the conversation seemed pointless. Later, I heard about what happened through an acquaintance. A few of Amy's classmates had attended the wedding, and I learned about the events from one of their mothers. Apparently, the groom loudly declared, "The engagement is off because the bride has no money." It seemed that everyone around thought the groom was at fault. However, later on, when Amy, comforted by her classmates, said, "If only my mom had come and revealed that she had refused my participation," it seems she was met with disbelief by those around her. After having all her tutoring, university, and living expenses paid for, her friends were angry at her for acting so entitled. Realizing her own faults, Amy came to our house and bowed her head at the front door, but I had no intention of letting her in. Since then, she has been coming by frequently, leaving envelopes filled with money to pay back the university funds, no matter how many years it takes. Written on the envelopes was, "I will pay back the university funds, no matter how many years it takes. Thank you for everything until now." By the time she's repaid the university funds, I think it will be time to reconcile with her